Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Anna Fouracre and I am an Associate Director in Osborne Clarke's Planning and Environment team. Welcome to part one of our big solar blogs on solar consenting. We're working on a number of projects in the solar market at the moment, and we today have Josh Taylor, who's a Senior Associate in our Planning and Environment team, to give a brief insight into what's going on in the world of big solar. So, firstly, Josh, can you tell me what's happening in the solar consenting space at the moment?
Yeah, hi Anna. I'll start with the good news on this really, in that we are seeing quite a bit more large-scale solar coming forward, and by large scale I mean that's over 50 megawatts and coming forward under the Development Consent Order regime, or the Welsh equivalent, which is the DNS regime. And I think this boom in part is due to the viability for large-scale solar, but there's also encouraging signs coming through the CFD regime and also from the emerging policy. So the Energy National Policy Statements were revised last September and they were published for consultation. And as part of that, they included solar for the first time within the Energy National Policy Statements. And the background to this being that when the draft Energy National Policy Statements were first released in 2011, solar wasn't included. So there wasn't really policy support for it then, because it wasn't really considered viable or feasible to roll out solar at a large scale, really. So we saw a lot of projects coming forward that were capped at 49.9 megawatts, so that they fell within the Town and Country Planning Act regime. But I think since then it's been recognised that actually solar is much more viable at a larger scale. And so there are larger projects coming forward, including some of those that we're working on around the 500 megawatt mark. So the draft national policy statements, which we're hopeful will be made and enforced by summer 2022, but I think we'll see about that. They remove an element of uncertainty for solar developers, and they help to unlock the door for these large-scale solar projects.
Okay, that all sounds really positive. And I suppose also with solar, you have the benefit of speed relative to other large scale generation projects, sorry, because solar can be deployed fairly quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, that's right. And I think generally speaking, solar, when compared to other generation projects, can be delivered with less environmental impacts and with a relatively high percentage of biodiversity uplift. So
Yeah.
yeah, positive on the whole.
Yeah, that's great. So you've told us about the main positives. Are there any areas of improvement in this latest policy which you think are worth mentioning?
Yeah, there are calls for more to be done, and for the government to go further in providing this step change needed to meet net zero. And that's also coming from the Bay Select Committee that have recently published their recommendation. In the context of solar itself, Solar Energy UK have suggested a target capacity needs to be introduced. And that's similar to the 40 gigawatt by 2030 target we've got for offshore wind. And the reason for this really is that not only would it be a useful headline for investors and investor confidence, but also without a target, it makes it easier for opposition groups to really test and challenge the need for certain projects. So, for example, if one's coming forward and there's another project down the road or another one in the local area, opposition groups might well say, well, we don't need your project here. Whereas if you've got a target, it's an easier way to track progress against that trajectory. And it's almost the country's way of tracking where you are, which against a presumably kind of ambitious and aspirational target.
Yeah, okay. That's really interesting. Thanks, Josh. And I know the Bayes Select Committee have included some of these points in their recommendation to government, haven't they? So we'll wait to see whether any amendments are included in the final made policies, which, as you say, we would hope to see by summer of this year. So that's all for part one of Big Solar. Please join us for part two, where we'll be discussing 3 hot topics in solar consenting. And thanks very much for watching.